Hey guys, welcome to the next part of the Q&A series. And yes, I have on a different shirt today. It's a white shirt because I'm doing this in the middle of the night. The first question is, did your parents name you after the Sean Phillips, that is the Jesus-looking hippie singer? Somehow I can see her doing that. Well, I actually am named after that singer. I don't know if I ever listened to any of his music though, but I know that is actually who I was named after. A long time ago, you talked about possibly doing something with the Jackass guys. Is that still a possibility? I think that was probably when I was talking about doing stuff with Joe Franz, and then we thought we were going to do more stuff with them. But since I moved and stuff, I haven't kind of lost touch. Um, was this ever shot anywhere near Simsbury, Connecticut? Because I know some of the actors in the movie. I think that was. I mean, I know we went into, I think, New Haven or Hartford, Connecticut. I can't remember exactly where that was shot. Um, I don't know. It was like in like a house. It was in like a big kind of mansion. And they filmed a lot of the movie there, and then it was like the doghouse hot dog stand, and a couple other places. But the movie's now been changed, the name to the Limb Collector, I think. Have you seen The Human Centipede? I have. A lot of people ask me about that. I really like that a lot. You know, it's a very strange movie. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the new one. I know there's like been all this stuff with the censor board and stuff, so I'm wondering, what's going to happen with that. Like, in Europe and stuff, it's actually going to get to come out somehow. The next question: have you seen The Room? And I have. What do you miss the most about your old house basement? From what I've seen in all your videos, your house, both of your houses have been pretty sweet. Well, I don't really miss much about the old basement. I mean, I like that, I don't know, there's not too much about it that I really miss. I mean, it got so junky. I was just, I don't know, I really like the way the DVDs are set up now, like all in the same spot, around the room like that. That's kind of like the way I don't know, I just really liked it that way. Like, in the old house, there was like all these random shelves, and it was just kind of a mess. I don't know, I did not like it as much. So I definitely feel like I'm happier, with the way it is now. Need some amazing horror DVDs to watch from 70s onward. Can you give me a list, please? Well, I can't give you a list now, but I think I did a video on top 70s movies. I was looking to become an actor. However, I'm not sure if it's the correct path for me personally, mainly because of money. My question is, as an actor, you guarantee. As my question is, if you are an actor, are you guaranteed money? Well, I mean, not when you're starting out. Like when you're first starting out in movies and you haven't done anything before, I mean, you really can't ask for money at that point. I mean, unless you just like somehow ended up in, like picked from like the way like when they cast some of those movies when they get child actors for like the big Steven Spielberg movies and stuff like that. They find out of 60,000 kids or something, or like how they found the Dennis the Menace kid. Like in that kind of situation, yeah. But if you're doing a low budget indie movie and the budget's like 10 grand or less, it's really difficult to be getting money if you haven't done anything before. Like once you start building credits and things like that, then it's possible, but not in the very beginning. The very beginning, if you want to act, you really just have to, you have to do it. You have to do things for free. You have to do all that kind of stuff in the beginning. But eventually, if you build a following with it, and if you just continue at it, then it starts to come that way. Um, what are what your favorite Hollywood holiday movie? Probably the Santa Claus. Will you come to the UK? At some point, I would love to. What's your favorite food? Probably Mexican food. And can I have an autograph? I have to figure out a system to do that. Hey, what part of Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead is your favorite? Um, in Dawn of the Dead, I don't know, I just like the whole thing in the mall with the Dawn of the Dead. Like once they get, like in the very beginning, it wasn't, it was kind of, I don't know, once they get to the mall, I really liked it. So I mean, I don't know, I really like that whole movie as a whole. Day of the Dead, there's a lot of scenes that I really like like the come on scene. The scene when the one guy is explaining about how it's like a 200-mile tombstone and the tax returns. That place I've always liked. Do you have some of the Dawn of the Dead toys? I think I do. I think I have some of the Todd McFarlane ones. Um, my favorite movie is Grandma's Boys. So my question is, what are your thoughts about the movie? Yeah, I remember when that came out. I think that was one of the first Jonah Hill movies. I think. Now Jonah Hill's like really skinny. I don't. I mean, I understand losing weight, but Jonah Hill's whole thing was like the kind of chubby fat guy, and it's kind of like I don't know. I just don't understand. I know. I mean, I know he did it for the part, but I don't know. I liked him that way. Just like with me, if I ever lost weight, I'd lose weight and still be fat. I don't have any interest in all in being the skinny guy. Not the slightest. I don't think I'd even be comfortable as a skinny person. But so I don't understand why he did that. But as for that movie, I know it's probably for a big money part. But as for that movie, I always liked that movie. I thought the casting was interesting too, because it was basically casting a lot of the people that Adam Sandler would put in like the small bit parts, and having them be kind of like the leads in the movie. And I don't know, I thought it was pretty funny. Are you into foreign horror films like The Orphanage, Let the Right One In? Also, what's your favorite Christmas movie? I just said that. But like for things like The Orphanage and Let the Right One In, I totally like them. But like Let the Right One In, though, the original is so much better than the remake. I mean, the remake is not bad, but I like the original so much better. Have you seen Tron Legacy? I haven't watched it yet. I don't know. For some reason, I'm just not that interested in it. Who's your favorite director from the Splat Pack? I don't know exactly what that is. How do you keep track of all your DVDs since you have so many? Do you ever buy a movie then find out later it's something you already have? I usually have a pretty good memory of what I bought, so I usually have not bought something more than once. I mean, there's a couple times when I'm in the store holding something up and I'm like, do I have this? And I'm kind of just wondering for a while, if I have this. And, and it's been with weird things. Like, I don't know why I don't remember I have it. But I don't, as far as I can know, I can never, bought anything twice. I mean, there's some stuff in the past, like a couple of years I think I sold, and I'm like, why did I sell that? Then I went and got it again. Like, when I moved, I was like, got rid of a bunch of DVDs, like probably like 600 or something. Just kind of random stuff I didn't want. So I'm sure, in the future I'm going to want to see one of those things and then have to get them again. But I have like, the order now is pretty much, I have a whole horror section. I put everything horror onto the one wall. And then the one wall's Blu-rays in alphabetical order. The horrors in alphabetical order. Those are the only ones in order right now. What do you think of American remakes of horror of foreign films? Do you think it takes away from the originals? I think that a lot of people are really against, reading subtitles. And, a lot of people don't like that. And I think, I don't know, I would rather sometimes they just dub it over. Sometimes, though, they're okay. What's the funniest movie you saw or show you worked on? I haven't really done too many comedy movies. Most of what I've done has been horror movies. Funniest, though, probably the stuff with Chris Seaver. The, what's that? Filthy McNasty, or Beyond McNasty, and the Geek Awards, I think, are coming out through Tempe sometime next year, I think. Do you listen to your music on an iPod through headphones, on an iPod through earbuds, cassette recorder, CDs, radio, in the car? What I do in the car, when I'm sitting at the computer, I listen to them. And for some reason, when I sit on the computer, I always like these cheap headphones. I don't know why. I have better ones, but I don't know, it's like some weird thing. I've always bought the cheap headphones, like the $5 ones for the computer. I do not like the earbuds. I always get they start really hurting my ears after a while. I think the one thing I like about the cheap ones too is the more expensive ones that are these but thick, after a while they really start to pinch your ears. These ones, you can have them on forever, and they don't do that. So that's the one thing about them I think that I like better. But like I said, the car, when I'm on the computer, I'm always listening to something. And I use an iPod occasionally. Usually when I'm traveling, like on the plane and things like that. See the next question. Recently watched this pretty weird comedy on Netflix called Low. It's about demons and this guy that's trying to get his girl back. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Oh, I liked it a lot. Travis, I've met him and talked to him a lot online. We were actually on the Rough Cuts channel together a while back, and I just couldn't, post on that anymore. It just kind of got out of hand because at that point in time I was working at the movie theaters, and the day that I had to post was a Monday, And it was like I never felt like posting things. I always ended up having to work the weekend, Sunday night, and it was I'm so glad I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just so glad. Oh, I don't even want to go on about that, but yeah, I definitely like that a lot. Have you ever considered going on salads? Yeah, that's a fat question, yes. But yes, I do eat salads. I like salads. I actually, the thing with me is I think I'm starting to think that I have a thyroid thing. And that's why I, have problems with losing weight and things like that. Because I do not eat, I mean, I don't know why I'm like talking about this here, but I do not really eat as much as people think. I've been fat my whole fucking life. And it's just like, like I said, I want to lose some weight, but I have no interest in being skinny and getting like to the point where Jonah Hill did. Because, truthfully, it's like going to be like, well, Jonah Hill, keep getting skinny. I'll just get your parts if I'm lucky. That's what's going to happen if all the fat people stop being fat. There's no other fat people who are acting, and building, credits keep going up and up and up. It's like I feel like, well, okay, I guess I get that chance because like there's no fat people. Like I don't know. But are you a fan of Captain Beefheart or Frank Zappa? If you've ever have you ever listened to either of them? I highly recommend them to you. I'm sure I've listened to them in the past. I don't remember, like offhand, some of their songs. What's your favorite thing to do? Um, Pretty much, very favorite thing to do. Yeah, I really, doing the movies is really, on the sets and being able to work on stuff. There's just something about it. I just feel like I'm really doing something. And I don't know, just the fact that people are going to see it, most of the time. The fact that people are going to see it and that I'm able to, work on something that I really like. I just like being around that group of people. I like being around creative people. I guess the other thing is probably, finding obscure, weird movies, watching stuff, you know, looking for DVDs and things like that, going to movies. I've always been a real movie person. That's always been me. Best memory or day you ever had and why? Well, I don't know what would be the best memory I have right now. I mean, one that I'm doing right now, but I'm not. I don't know if I said it right because technically these are uploaded during the time I'm doing something else. So one of them is pretty positive. Have you ever seen movies from different cultures that have been translated? If so, what do you think about them? Um, I think I'm sure I have like foreign films and stuff. What's your favorite? I mentioned those. What are your thoughts on the James Bond films? Never really watched a ton of them. I watched some of, I think as a kid, I watched the older ones. But I always thought they were fine. Are you going to do more cooking shows with Gina? At some point, I'll definitely do another one. I mean, we don't really cook too much in the house, and, it's never been, a big thing that we do. But we'll do more of them. Probably for Christmas is usually the time to do those kind of things. What do you think about the Butterfly Effect 1 and the sequel sucked? I liked the first one. I remember when I saw it, though, there was this guy, I don't know how old he was, but he was with his mother, and he kept asking questions. The whole movie, he kept going, is this what college is like? And I used to see this guy in the theaters when I used to go to Towson Commons, and now the theater is closed. I don't live there anymore, but I've seen all the stuff about it, like, closed down. But he was always in the movies. But this one particularly, he had all these questions about it. And he kept asking things about Ashton Kutcher and talking to his mom about the sex scenes. And it was ridiculous. I really wish they could have recorded him for a commentary for it because it would have made the movie even better. What are your favorite characters from The Simpsons? Probably like the main ones. Like I always like Homer Simpson, Principal Skinner, Burns, Smithers, Ned Flanders. Hey Sean, what do you think about Mike Judge bringing back Beavis and Butthead? Yeah, I tried to go to the panel of that at Comic-Con and couldn't get in. Because the line was like, it was weird. Like that was those kind of panels for the TV shows were far busier than the movies. So you could get into the big Hall H for about all the big upcoming movies. You couldn't get into the ones for the TV. But I'm really happy that he's bringing back the show. When King of the Hill was canceled, I was, King of the Hill I loved. But in the beginning, I was upset about King of the Hill because when King of the Hill started, Mike Judge couldn't do both. He couldn't do Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill, and King of the Hill was probably paying more and was a bigger audience at the time because Beavis and Butthead was kind of dying down, I think, a little bit at that time. King of the Hill was really starting to get decent ratings then. So he had to leave and do King of the Hill. And I think he also felt like he was done at that point. But I think now that King of the Hill is done, I was sad that it's gone, but I'm glad that it is in a way now because he's going to come back and do Beavis and Butthead. And I've seen the clips, and it looks exactly like where he left off. I mean, he didn't change the look or anything, and I think that's really the way to go. And I think him talking over things, YouTube videos and talking over things like the Jersey Shore and things like that, I think that makes sense, and that will keep the show kind of, people that didn't watch it then, will watch it, the new generation, I think, will start watching it to see that kind of stuff. The current generation, the classic audience were kind of just, sometimes I used to fast forward that part. Like, I love the actual show part. Hey, Sean, do you prefer a classic 70s mall or a more edgy 80s hipster shopping mall? Well, I grew up, in the 80s, and as a kid, and I really liked 80s malls, and I liked that kind of look to it. They're really hard to find now. And most of the time, if you see them, they're really run down. But if you find one that's in really good shape, that's pretty cool. I always just like that because it's just almost like you feel like you're going back into time with them. The only thing is with them now, though, is that the stores are all new, so it's not the same. Like if you went back into a real 80s mall, it'd have the arcades and all that kind of stuff. Have you seen Black Christmas? Yes, I've seen both versions of that. I like the original best, though. Have you seen the Ricky Gervais show? I don't love that. I really like A Stranger Abroad, and I really liked Extras a lot. I've talked about this. Have you? I think I've talked about that. Sean, do you recycle your garbage to the best of your abilities? Do you ever just throw away something you could have recycled? Well, I don't. I mean, we have a recycling thing, like for the house. There's a main one for garbage and one for recycling. So yeah, we do. The only time I don't really recycle stuff is like if I'm in like the mall or something like that, or out in public. I just throw it in the main trash. I don't really worry about that. Why do you call your parents by their first name? When is President's Day coming out? Well, President's Day is going to be out on DVD and Blu-ray. It's just I'm not totally sure exactly when on the date. And why do you call your parents by their first names? I'm not calling them by their first names. I'm not going to be in the video going, Mommy, Daddy. I'm not doing that. Also, for years upon years, Gina and Herb have just been these names that, from just like I said, from the E.T. ride, it's just a joke. It's like an inside thing. It's gotten to the point I just sort of call them that in real life now a lot. And, they've never had a problem with it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it's kind of like almost like their own names now or something. What do you think about The Social Network and Zombieland? I like both of them. I like Zombieland better, though. If I bought a movie with you in it, could I sign it? Like I said, I've got to figure out some kind of a system, like a way to do that. Because I don't know. It'd be tough to be sending things back and forth all the time. Like maybe if I did some kind of like once a month or something, I sent out a whole bunch of them or something. And I do want to in the future try and go to some conventions and do that kind of stuff. Just for some of the horror things I've done. And I see a lot of people who've done like indie horror stuff, the same kind of level as I've done, signing at these things. I'm like, I really have got to try and do them. I was going to do the Days of the Dead one, and then I just couldn't make it. So I've really got to try and do that stuff. What is your favorite movie that you've acted in? Probably as of now, the Girls Gone Dead movie. I feel really good about it. Like I've seen clips from it. It looks really good. I think people are going to really like the movie. And probably followed by the movies with Chris LaMartine. Do you have any actors and or filmmakers take under your wing to help better improve your skills? Not really. Yeah, nobody really took me under their wings or anything like that. It's pretty much just me just doing everything on my own. But anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching this, because it's 20 minutes, and stay tuned soon for the next part of the video, and I'm really soon going to be done with the questions, so I'm working to get through these things. Anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching and for subscribing, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.